Today is day 11 in this RV hauler build named CHUGGS. Last episode 10, you saw us installing button lights, boogie lights, and a CAN board. Today, we're gonna go under the bed, installing some porcupines and also mounting some storage. I'm Greg from RV Haulers, and today is day 11 of following along in the daily accounting of the building. So what we're doing in this video series is we're taking you along day by day and showing you all the tips and tricks and tools and steps involved in taking your candidate truck. Today, we are doing steps, skirting, and storage boxes. If you're interested in that kind of stuff, join us in this video. If you've just landed upon this video randomly, hi, I'm Greg from RV Haulers, and what we do is we take Class 8 highway tractors and we help folks convert them to pull the largest of fifth wheels or horse trailers or race trailers. This one is being designed, it's been converted to a single rear axle, and we're putting a K truck, one of those little Japanese trucks up here, and it's going to be pulling a beautiful fifth wheel. James and Britney have honored us and chosen us to build this RV hauler. And what we're doing is documenting day by day all the little steps involved. So if you're interested in building your own RV hauler, hopefully this is going to be helpful. Okay, enough of that. I'm going to turn off these boogie lights. There we go. And the step we're at today on day 11 is Rob has gone all the way around and he's done all the lighting on this bed. We've got 1,000,000 3/4-inch button lights. It's got a couple left to do, and we're going to be pre-fitting all the storage boxes underneath here. Let me show you what we have planned. Is we've got some 36-inch storage box enclosures going at the rear. Then we've got, by the way, these frames, they are 48 inches wide. So we've got a 48-inch storage box going there and another 48-inch storage box here. And then lastly, we're going to be building a custom set of steps right here that will allow James and Britney to get up on the bed. So the plan today is to prepare those boxes, get them mounted up, and we're also going to be doing, probably starting some of the skirting as well. So filling in all of this so that the whole side of this bed gets paint matched to match the color of Chug. What you're seeing us use is our CANbed do-it-yourself kit. So this is actually a bed that we will build for our customers here at our shop, and it will look exactly like this. However length you need, it's fully customizable, so we can make it as long or short or simple or as fancy as you want. And what's nice about this is you'll see that everything is bolted together. So we prefabricate this bed, and then we simply take apart the bolts that are holding these frames together, and these 4x8 frames, I just stack them up on an oversized pallet, ship it to you. So in this case, the customers are just having us build it on their truck. Now, the banging you hear behind me is this system is also designed to accommodate industry standard storage box. So this structure that you see right here is our CANbed system. And we have what we call our porcupines for mounting the storage boxes. And you're able to pick up yourself locally storage boxes such as the buyer's products storage boxes and mount them under here. So I don't have to ship those to you, you can buy them yourself. The nice thing too is you can add them at any time. If you wanted just a simple design, flat deck design like this, and the budget didn't support storage yet or skirting yet, we can ship you this flatbed structure, enjoy it. Of course, it would have paneling on the top. Take your toys with you, whether it's motorcycles, Jeeps, or 4x4s, or Harleys, or whatever you want. And then later on, you can add these boxes at any time. You can buy them yourself. So here we go. We're gonna show you the prep involved in getting one of these mounted underneath the bed. Step number one, bring it inside. And what we provide for you is a template as to where to drill these holes. So not only are we super consistent where we mount those storage box placements, the porcupines, but we also provide you, yours is going to be a poly or more like a paper-based version of this. We have a metal one. And go ahead, let's throw it on there. So this always matches up with the mounting structure underneath the bed. and it has the holes that line up with these bolts. So that box is going to connect to and go up to those bolts. Now we're going to be doing this rapid fire. We've got a very detailed video. This is not meant to be an instructional video. This is just showing you how fast this goes. So you mark the 4 holes. You're going to want to use a center punch so your drill bit doesn't wander. We're going to be drilling holes that are oversized. That's one of the tips and tricks today. And we suggest using one of these step bits. And we want to mark a size, make it really obvious, about 3/4 or 5/8. It doesn't have to be accurate. Those bolts that you saw back there on the porcupines are much smaller than that, but we want to make these holes oversized. It's much easier when you lift this box up underneath the bed. If the holes are a little bit big, it's easier to put it in place. And also, you know, drill bits do wander a smidgen, so if you're out by 1/16 or 32nd, doesn't matter. Oversize them. It's not going to be a structural or a leak issue. You'll see why in a moment, because the porcupines accommodate that. Should we have a sharp bit? We'll go find another one. Or sharpen it.
Light?
We can afford the power. I paid my bill this month. Not sharp now. That's sharp.
Biting, so I'm gonna slow it down just a bit.
Little trick, we like these little grindy wheels on the drill, each of those holes.
More of a burr on the
Just no chance of, you know, cutting yourself, or less chance of cutting yourself. Of course, there's going to be more of a burr, or inside, as Austin said.
Then you can see they come in through when you do it from the bottom.
When you finish drilling and taking off the burrs, grab your shop vac, clean out all these little metal bits that are on the inside. They're just an opportunity in the future. Opportunity for rust in the future, right? All those little metal bits are in there, and water were to get in the bottom, or you put something wet in the box. It's nice to catch all these. We want to paint those holes a little bit. From the manufacturing process, you never know whether there's a little bit of an oil or something on there. We'll use a product, use what you like, but we use a commercial product like a final wash. Just meant to, just before paint, we find the paint sticks way better, making sure that there's nothing to compromise the adhesion. This stuff is actually, it's really cool. It's designed, it goes on. You don't have to clean it or anything. It does a flash off and evaporation. And then when it's all dry, give it a shot of paint. So we're just gonna rinse and repeat. We're gonna do that for not only the bolts across the front, but across the back. And we'll do that for all 6 of the storage boxes for this build. Knock, knock. Moo! That was the impatient cow.
Oh.
We're waiting for paint to dry. It's time. Yes, it's that time again. It's time for an Austin joke. Here
A bad dad joke?
Yeah, bad dad sounds good.
Yeah, so like when Tarzan's swinging through the jungle and just swinging around and swinging around, and he sees one of his nets are full. It's full of these little tiny birds, all colorful. So he grabs the net, thinks, oh, right on. On the way back to his house, up in the trees, he sees these chimpanzees that are beating up this one other chimpanzee, and they beat him to death. And it's just, that's what happens in the jungle, eh? So he picks up the chimpanzee, he's gonna take it back. And he's swinging through the jungle and swinging through the jungle, and gets home and he sees Jane, and Jane says, so what'd you bring for dinner tonight? He slaps all this on the table, and she goes, oh my goodness, not Finch and chimps again. That hard manual carrying stuff is not for me.
I should not do this one-handed.
Let me get in here. So I like to spin them on one corner. Is that going to be in your way? Okay. Oh, hang on. That's why it's... Okay.
So here's what the light harness will look like when complete. So we call this our feeder line, kind of the main one. And then we've got all these pigtails that come off to the individual 3/4 inch buttons. And as I said, because the boxes are coming up into this space, it's okay having this a little bit loose. It's going to be no issue. It's protected. In the case of the wheel, you can see how we've got this mounting tray here that the loom is attached to and zip tied to in multiple points. But I think it is time for a bit of a reveal. All right, so we've got our stop tail turn, our marker lights up there, and these, we're not going to mount all of these yet because we're going to leave them pulled out and we're going to mask them off because of course we're taping this whole bed. So they're going to stay loose for now. But on the corners, we've got our reds, right? The DOT required 3 across the back. We haven't put on our signal light bars yet, but we will. Little note about these LED lights as well is they're actually oriented. So we're going to make sure that we have them all mounted exactly the same way so that the LEDs are straight across. Probably hard to see in the camera. It's just glowing, but Rob did an awesome job as always, right? Everything is carefully loomed in here and protected for longevity. We've got all of our boxes drilled, and what Austin is going to do here next is we're getting ready for mounting a couple of the rear boxes, but first we're prepping them for what we call the umbilical. So the boxes that are going here are going to have a big pass-through, which is where we're going to store our ramps. So Austin's going to take out the back sides of the 36-inch boxes. You can see how that one was cut out. Look at all the lovely safety equipment we've got on.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go for it.
Do you either melt gloves or you melt clothes or you melt your face? It's just not worth it. Way easier. Way easier. And I gotta flip it up.
You might be wondering why we're putting the boxes in and taking them out. Well, these are just test fits. What we're going to be doing is we fabricate up all the box mounts, steps, etc. And then we drop it all. So we build the whole steps, boxes, wheel enclosures, skirting. So we finish the whole underside of this bed first, and then we drop them, right? It's just taking off a few bolts to drop all of this off, because we need access to put the top panels in place, right? So just wanted to make it clear that I know it seems like we're kind of doing things twice, but we test fit first. By not having the panels on top, we have access to all of this, right? We can kind of see it a little bit better, and it's so fast to put them up and take them down. It's great, right? It's great for us. The other thing that's I'll point out about this whole design of this system is, with just anybody in a floor jack, you know, when this bed is finished, by having these boxes removable in this manner, if you ever need to get, you know, up and under and do big maintenance repairs underneath your truck, you can drop out a box really quick and fix what you need to. Or let's say somebody in a resort in the lawn tractor bangs into one of your boxes and dents it horribly. You can drop just that piece out, get it replaced, or fix the door, or get it painted and put it back in. It's not like you got to take your whole RV hauler to some big paint booth. We're just taking a 4-foot box or smaller. Sometimes the little things take a little longer than you expect. Let me show you a couple things that we've been agonizing over and making decisions on, doing some mock-ups. So we've been working on figuring out our step heights of all crazy things. So this is just a little piece of decking that I put on here, so you can see the resultant height. What we've been working on is figuring out step heights, because we're going to have some 15-inch wide steps to get up onto the deck surface. And what I've done here to show you some is, this is a piece of the carbon fiber reinforced polymer decking. So it's got this webbing underneath, but this is the thickness. So I just grabbed a piece of scrap and put it on there so you can see the ultimate deck height. And remember, we're going to have a big, tall handle here on the side of the drum for getting up on the deck. We were looking at our step heights to get up, and that's the bottom of the deck right there. We want to have the steps, you know, we don't have them drop down lower than the deck. We want to have it even with the bottom edge of the deck. So there's our bottom step, this at the top of this orange tape. We're kind of playing with the idea, do we put 2 steps in here or do we put in 1? And I think what everybody realizes is how messed up you get when step heights are different. You ever gone to some, actually the sports arena here in Calgary, the Saddle Dome, I was just saying, there's 1 step going up, which is like half an inch different than all the others. And it is amazing how many guys or gals or people are climbing those steps looking for where their spouse is in the audience, in the stands, and they trip on that darn step, right? Because they're not watching. And it's off by a little bit. So because we've got this thick space here that we can't work in, we've decided we're going to put the steps equidistant. So the first one is nice and low, and then this is going to be a 16 3/4 inch step height to here and then to here. Let me show you. So this is what we're able to do with our CANbed material, is we've got this piece notched. So that's going to be like that. And remember, this is going to be all painted to match. And then we're going to have a piece of skirting that's going to go close in that space here. Sometimes you agonize over these little things, and I think that's what ultimately makes a big difference. Also, Austin and Robin working on the rear box supports. So those 36-inch wide boxes are going right here, and there's the porcupines. We just got to put the bolts in there. Oh, I see one in Austin's hand right now. So those are going to be dropped in place to support the boxes, which will have the umbilical, the big giant tube that's going to pass through, right? There's going to be a big tube here passing through where the ramps will be stored. That's been our day 11. We made some pretty good progress, and I appreciate you guys watching this video. Thanks for following along on this build of the RV hauler named CHUGGS. Nice Mack. Please, everyone, continue to drive safe, and thanks for watching this video. Appreciate your time.